Hello everyone, welcome to a new chess video. It's very likely that with the trap I'm about to show you, you'll end up crying. This trap is absolutely amazing. If you're a channel veteran who's been subscribed for over a year, this might sound familiar to you. But today we're gonna go over it seriously because it's such an incredible trap, really, okay? I'm not joking, some of you might actually cry. It's a trap. Let me give you a bit of context that a super strong player taught me, and it happens in the double king's pawn opening. If you don't know the story, I was playing in a tournament, and when I finished my game, I went to watch a teammate's match. And that teammate, who has a 2200 ELO rating, pulled off this trap against an opponent with a similar rating and managed to beat him in a really spectacular way. I was so amazed that I asked him, please, to sit down with me for a moment and teach me that trap in detail, because I wanted to share it with all of you. And that's exactly what happened. He explained it to me in full detail. Just look, after the double king's pawn opening, okay? Which are the two most popular moves in the history of chess? My friend played knight to e2. What a strange move. At that point, I was already holding my head in disbelief. Why would such a high-level player make such a weird move? He develops the knight to a very unnatural square, blocks his bishop, blocks his queen. It does absolutely nothing. And that's why I thought he must have something prepared. Look, his opponent continued in the most normal way possible. He played knight to f6. He develops a piece. In fact, he develops the kingside knight while attacking a pawn. And do you think it ends here? Is this the only weird move he played? No, here came four. A really strange trap. At this point, I was already amazed because I was thinking, okay, the opponent is playing well, and now he's just giving away a pawn. Well, pay attention, because here's what happens next. Black has two possible moves here, right? Why? Because if he does anything else, we just take the pawn and even attack the knight. He only has two options. One would be to capture this pawn, which isn't a good move because we just take back here and it's simply a pawn exchange. But if the opponent realizes there's a way for him to win a pawn from us completely for free, and this way is simply to first capture this pawn here, we recapture, and now he takes this pawn over here. If you notice, our opponent has one more pawn, and that's exactly what happened in the game. And yes, if this happens, they've already fallen into your trap, because from here on out, everything is forced. And look how easy it is for them to fall into this trap. I was amazed. I said to him, okay man, explain all the variations to me clearly so I don't miss anything. How am I supposed to continue here? And he says to me, well, the key move is queen to e2. This move is gonna start making your opponent's moves forced. By the way, at the end of this video, when I show you this trap, we're gonna try it out in an online game, okay? So you can see, I'm getting excited. It really works. You'll see that this trap actually works. It's incredible. All right, we attack the knight. Here, notice that if they defend against the check, for example with the bishop, we simply capture the knight. So they absolutely have to defend the knight. If they do it with a pawn, for example, with the f-pawn, they're losing the knight because we simply attack it with our pawn, it's pinned and can't move, and on the next move we would capture it. The same thing happens if they defend with the d-pawn. We attack it, and on the next move we would capture it. So I'm sure you've all realized that the only move that defends the knight is queen to e7. Very good move. Even so, my friend showed me how to win anyway, because here, this is the only good move. We already know they're gonna play it if we don't win, and since they're gonna play it, we have this move here. Knight to d5, an excellent move. What does knight to d5 do? Well, take a good look. It attacks the queen, that's one, and it also attacks here, that's two, to win the rook. And not only that, but be careful where you put your queen, because you still have to keep defending the knight, otherwise I'm gonna capture it. That's why, for example, if you look at this, if they come to defend this square with the queen, we simply capture the knight with check and end up with an extra piece. And the same thing happens if they keep defending the knight. For example, we could come here, look at this triple threat we're setting up right here. Alright, once we've seen all that, the opponent will realize there's a move that saves them, one that defends all three things at once. They move the queen aside, defend the square, and protect the light. What is this move? Well, the only move that saves them is queen to e5. Alright, the opponent's realizing that there are moves that save them, but what they don't know is that they're lost anyway, because they're fallen into our trap. Here, you have to remember this super important move, knight to c3. And I'll explain why. Right now, they're threatening to capture this knight, okay? And since they have everything defended, we have to keep adding fuel to the fire. If they attack this knight, we defend it with knight to c3, and not only that, now we're also attacking this knight here, which can't capture because if it does, it would lose the queen. That's why, all the time, they're going to have to think really hard about what the perfect move is to get out of each situation. And even if they find it, we're still going to end up winning. Look, now we have everything defended and we're attacking here, and it seems like there's not much of a way to defend it. However, what they played in the game against this player, which is the most logical thing to do, is to attack this knight here. Why? Because this is the real headache in their position. It's the one that's attacking everything. If we move the knight away now, the attack is over. Our opponent would even end up with an extra pawn. For example, they could capture here and nothing at all would have happened. That is, if they find this move here, watch out, because only one move works for us. And pay attention, because the move is spectacular. Don't even think about moving this knight away. The move here is to play d4, an incredible move. Look, the queen is under attack, and she can't move away because then this move would come. Why? We're forcing the queen off the only square that defends everything. You remember, right? It's the only square that defends everything. It's true that here, after thinking for a while, our opponent might come to the conclusion that they can win, that they can recover the material. How? By capturing this pawn, which is free, right? And now, how would things continue? We would capture the knight, but they could recapture this one here, either with the queen or with the pawn. With both, they lose. All right, and I'm going to explain both to you because I told my friend, hey, explain everything to me. I don't want to miss anything. I want my followers to have all the variations clear. Otherwise, someone will play something weird against them and they won't be able to win. Well, whether they capture with the queen or with the pawn, they've lost the game. In fact, that's exactly what you're seeing. No matter what they do, they're going to lose. If they capture with the queen, it's very simple. Check out this move, knight to f6, and they can resign right there. Double check, they can't take the knight because it's also check from the queen. So they have to move the king and we take the queen. That's more than enough material to force resignation. That's why they can't take this knight with the queen. So what happened in the game? They took it with the pawn. But that doesn't help either. They're still not saved. Now, the check doesn't come from here, but from over here. And you might say, chess teacher, can't they just take you with the bishop? No, it's exactly the same. It's still check with the queen, and the only move is to get out of the way. If at this point you don't remember how to deliver checkmate, because I'm telling you now, we're gonna checkmate. It's simple. You take this pawn, check, then you take the rook, and you have more than enough material to win the game. Now, if you're like me and you want to checkmate right in the opening and blow them away, then pay attention, because the checkmate comes like this. We come in with queen to e8, check. What's the only move? The king can't escape this way, so he has to escape over here. And the next move is this one right here. We deliver this double check and attack the queen, so at the very least, if you don't remember, you're gonna win the queen. That's the bare minimum. But we're actually gonna checkmate them. Look, there are several options here. If they come here, we simply capture the queen with check and continue in the same way that I'm about to show you on the other side. So don't worry. If they come here, we simply capture with check. What happens if, for example, they come here? You never have to worry about this knight because it's defended by the bishop. So we're gonna keep giving checks with the queen. We come in through here. Now, if the king comes to this side, it's checkmate. There's no way to escape. And if the king comes to this side, well, look, he can't go here because the queen is covering it, right? The only options are here or here. If he comes here, it's mate. If he comes here, what happens? We take the queen with a discovered check. Now it's the bishop that comes into play, right? And this queen's blocking these squares. So the king can't go here or here because of the queen, and he can't go here because of the bishop. Therefore, the only move is this one here. You see it, right? And now we have to make the key move to deliver checkmate. It's not an easy move to find, but when you see it, you'll say, wow, that's a good one. All right, I'll give you 3 seconds to think. 1, 2, 3. The key move. Look, I'll give you a hint. Notice that the queen is cutting off all of this, but the king can escape through here. So we bring the queen here. Better than giving check, right? We bring the queen here because now we're threatening the bishop with the pawn and checkmate on the next move. No matter what they do, there's no way to stop it. If, for example, they come with a knight, it's checkmate. If, for example, they come with the bishop to give check, all they're going to do is delay mate by one move, because we block the check, and when they move it away, then yes, checkmate with the bishop. That's why this trap is so powerful, but let's try it online to show you that it really works, okay? Let's go. Come on, let's try it in an online game. We're playing with the white pieces. Alright, double king's pawn. Just what we were hoping for. It has set up the trap with knight to e2. Here, we'd like them to play knight to f6. There it is, perfect. In fact, it's the most logical move. What they don't expect is that I'm going to pull off this awesome trap with f4. Now we're going to leave them thinking for a good while here. The only way our opponent can win a pawn is by first capturing the f4 pawn and then taking the e4 pawn with the knight. Actually, they realize it. Perfect. What do we have to do? You remember, right? We come here and look, right away my opponent already thinks they have an extra pawn, but what they don't know is that they've fallen into my trap. It's just spectacular. So what are we going to do now? Well, we're going to place the queen on e2. Perfect. Here they only have one move, remember? If they defend with the pawns, we simply play d3 and win the knight. The only move to recover, or rather to not lose the knight, is queen to e7. Let's see if our opponent notices and loses the knight, or... Look, they play queen to e7, the only move, just like we studied in the video. What do we have to play here? You remember? Knight to d5. We're attacking the queen, we're attacking the c7 square, the pawn, and also, if the queen moves, we're attacking the knight on e4. So my opponent needs to realize that we're attacking all of this, and the only move that works is queen to e5. If our opponent plays well, they'll play queen to e5. If our opponent plays badly, they'll make another move and lose the game right away, although they're gonna lose anyway. As you can see here, like I was saying, we're putting our opponent in a lot of trouble, and they have to think hard to find the right move. In fact, here they're not playing, look, queen to e5, perfect. They're playing exactly what I told you in the video. Here they're attacking our knight, and they're defending everything. So we have to play knight to c3. Super important. We defend the knight, and we're also attacking their knight. Here, it's really tough for them because we're attacking the knight with two pieces, they're only defending it with one, and in the video I explained c6. Let's see if they play c6 to get that knight out of the way, or if they try any other move, and that way I can explain it to you. Perfect. I'm going to explain how to punish any other move, so the video is totally complete, and no matter what they do, I'm going to show you how to punish it. Here, they don't play the move I mentioned in the video, they play something else, which can happen pretty often with my videos, right? If logical, they're not always going to play what I tell you. That's why I say it's so important to understand the idea. We're still going to play d4, attacking their queen, and they've lost the game. Why? Because what we want is to force that queen off the good square it's on, since it's defending everything. Right, yeah? And that's why now they have to move their queen. For example, they move it to d6. I don't care. In this case, I'll take the knight, they take back with the pawn naturally, but then what? Queen takes pawn, check. They have very few options here. They block with the bishop, but my friend, you've already lost the game, because look at this, okay? If my opponent's queen wasn't there, I would checkmate in one move. I would play queen takes bishop and deliver checkmate. However, that queen is in my way, so what am I going to do? Bishop to f4, and now you might as well resign, because look, you're going to have to move your queen since I'm attacking it, and no matter where you move it, I'm going to checkmate you with queen takes bishop. Notice how this trap is spectacular. Let's see what my opponent does here, but I'll tell you right now, there's absolutely nothing they can do. Wherever the queen goes, if it comes to b4, even giving check, we just play c3. The queen has to move away, and as soon as it does, we're going to checkmate with queen takes bishop. As you can see here, my opponent is already realizing I think they've lost the game. So let's not drag this out any longer. I'm not going to make you wait all this time just to show you how well it works. This trap definitely deserves a big like from you. Please leave a big like because it's spectacular. Let me know what you think in the comments, okay? Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and stay tuned because in the next few days, I'm going to give you a free book that I wrote myself, a little digital book I wrote, all right? For all of you. So I really hope you love this video from the bottom of my heart, and I'll see you in the next one, friends. Goodbye.